And it's so funny because like talking about that fight leads us right into this fight because the JSP fight, Jonathan Pearce, he's a guy that we're really excited about in the UFC and having that fight with Kai Kamaka where he found his ground very much towards the end of that first round leading into the second. I think that's where, we just talked about how Kai Kamaka, great left hook, always looking for the right power hands and things like that. I think just Jonathan Pearce was able to really, deal with that kind of pressure and kind of work in the game plan that we're assuming JT Brown should utilize as well. But took over in the second, made it his fight in the third, and really came away with what looked to be a much more dominant victory towards the end there because Kai Kamaka is just not easy to put away. And when you're looking at this fight, Gabriel Benitez, one of my personal favorites, not because of the nickname Mowgli from the Jungle Book, but Javier Mendez has been quoted saying that of all the guys, everyone in AK, like think about that. I mean, they're not the greatest striking team, obviously a wrestling team, but the hardest he's ever had to hold pads for, right? These kicks are coming. These kicks are flying. They come hard as hell. Justin James took a massive liver shot. That knee pretty much ended the fight. But I think that even before that, you just saw really good kicks. The accuracy and just the crispness of his strikes are there. He's probably one of the better strikers in that gym, right? I mean, the best part of him going into this fight is one of AK's longest running fighters getting to train with a bunch of those kinds of wrestlers. I mean, if you look at the way Jonathan Pearce utilized his game against the Kai Kamaka type of striker, I'm going to say being able to work with those wrestlers is going to come in handy, right? Jonathan Pearce is going to have to really make a difference here in the grappling and close exchanges because if he's standing at distance trying to take kicks, I'm sorry to say, but they are going to break you. Everybody's human. I think that the accuracy and the way he throws those kicks, head, body, he's able to do it because I think that that's the most game. And so when you see that the strikes are pretty much right there, par for par with overall technique, he's just a really tough guy to stand with. And I think that, while the ability is there, especially in that first round to land those types of bombs, you got to work away from that. And it's going to be working through the kicks, getting in close, working up against the fence, getting clinch work done. A guy like Gabriel Benitez, it's going to be so hard for me to, tell myself in my head that I'm going to stand, I'm going to be able to trade, I'm going to be able to handle these kicks. It's just from a game plan perspective. It just seems like a hard fight. So for Jonathan Pearce, I mean, very similar to the last fight, right? Try to get a feel for the striking game, work in your shots where you can. You're definitely not going to be par for par, but at the same time, I think that he has the opportunity here to just find better spots. If you look at the past record of Gabriel Benitez and some of those losses, right? Omar Morales, he's going to be talked about a little bit here with Giga Chikadze, but he's able to take a real beating. And so when you can take a beating like that, I really think that that's kind of the part and parcel of dealing with Gabriel Benitez because even Justin James pretty much took a solid few shots before even getting finished by that liver. And he was landing. I felt like some of his punches were getting in there. He's got that big left hand that he likes to throw. And I thought that was a really impressive, start to his game. But at the same time, these are the big dogs. Sadiq Youssef, Omar Morales, these are the losses he was eating. And in this case, I think that he's becoming more aggressive. We saw it in the Justin James fight. He's looking a lot healthier. I feel like this is a guy who's had to deal with a few injuries, which is why we haven't seen him a lot over the last 3-4 years. The big thing, he's moving back to featherweight, which is really, exciting. I want to see him go back to his regular weight class, see if he's able to do some damage, because even Justin James is fairly small for the lightweight division. And I think Gabriel Benitez has good size for the featherweight division. So going back down, taking on a guy like Jonathan Pearce, who's a great athlete, is going to be a great test for him. And again, find that rhythm. Take it to the ground. Avoid these big strikes. I think Jonathan Pearce is a tough kid. And so if he's able to eat those, it's going to be a fun fight, man. And I think that a lot of people are going to be counting him out. Let's see for these lines. I mean, call that, right? I mean, let's be real. Gabriel Benitez at a minus 238, now dropping down to minus 210. People understand that's a bit high. I think that it's obvious that Gabriel Benitez is going to get so much hype now with how everybody's talking about him. But again, he's had that for a long time. Gabriel Benitez has been known for his kicks for just so long. He's a tough vet. We've seen him on the scene for quite some time. And the Justin James finish, I think, is that recency bias. And right now on a line where, Jonathan Pearce is coming all the way at plus 175, it's kind of interesting to see his line kind of move back up. But I think most of the line movement that you're seeing here is mostly for Gabriel Benitez coming back down to earth a little bit from his opening minus 238, minus 240 line. But Jonathan Pearce is still looking like a plus 165 down from the plus 175 range. And I think it's fair because of just how different the striking games are going to be. But again, MMA fighters are tough as hell, and if he's able to work through those strikes and get past them and really work in a ground game, I think we're going to see how good Gabriel Benitez's wrestling game is. Working with the guys at AK and how well he's able to kind of withstand a guy like Pearce who's going to keep coming forward for 3 rounds. Trust me, guys, that one's you just don't want to miss it.